ChatGPT will create trillions of dollars for those who know how to use it. Chamath Palihapitiya is the creator of Social Capital, where he places large wagers on revolutionary ideas, technologies, and individuals. At all stages, Social Capital fosters entrepreneurship. This strategy enables one to amplify his or her convictions and provide entrepreneurs with the resources and runway required for success, because it operates beyond the constraints of conventional fund structures. Before starting Social Capital, Chamath was a pioneering member of Facebook's senior executive team, where he oversaw the creation and introduction of new platforms that fueled the company's phenomenal worldwide expansion. Now, during a discussion with the Global Alts, Chamath speaks regarding the upcoming AI revolution and how it will shape today's world. New developments in AI are not only changing how we use the internet and how digital goods are produced, but they're also changing the rate of consumption and production of all goods, both physical and virtual. AI is growing fast and will create tens of trillions of dollars within a few decades. Hello, and welcome to another video of Finance Sense, where we cover all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. Before we start, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment below if you enjoyed watching this video, and turn on the notification bell to keep posted. During a panel discussion with Global Alts, investor Chamath Palihapitiya shared his perspective on where he perceives the current economy is moving and what investors should anticipate from the new emergence of AI. Because he was one of the first people to witness AI take control of deep learning through Facebook's newsfeed, Chamath brings a fresh perspective to the discussion, especially with regard to AI. The consensus among most people, including Chamath, is that ChatGPT and the newly developed AI tools are merely the early stages of the AI revolution. Where Chamath diverges from the consensus is in his belief that the earlier technologies, such as deep learning and ChatGPT, will not be the ones to emerge victorious. The true victor will be the company that develops a proprietary second layer of technology that figures out how to use ChatGPT slightly more effectively than all its rivals. Chamath gave the example of Coca-Cola to illustrate his point. Although Coca-Cola wasn't the company that came up with the idea of refrigerator, which was a game-changing innovation for its time, the company was the one that worked out how to build a successful business on the back of the refrigerator. According to Chamath, these are multi-trillion-dollar shifts in the information economy, and today, you can generate using solar and wind energy that's effectively approaching zero. It is less expensive than gas, and this is true not just on the level of residential power generation, but also on the level of power generation that is required for baseload. Hence, there is the potential for 100 million households in the United States to successfully displace 1,700 utilities, as well as every monopolistic activity that is associated with regulatory capture. If you suddenly have access to unlimited, free energy that you can harvest from the sky, store in your garage, and channel anywhere you like, you may use brute force to overcome obstacles that were previously insurmountable due to energy constraints. Also, as per Chamath, we have found a way to transition away from Moore's Law, away from CPUs, into these application-specialized chipsets today that work in the area of machine learning and AI. Given how well-known these reference designs are and how capable the associated software is, the estimated cost is practically going to zero. When you add these two factors together, what was formerly a problem that cost multiple billions of dollars to calculate and used a significant amount of energy is now essentially a problem that costs just a few tens of millions of dollars. Chamath argued that the challenges associated with real-time detection, implementing fully autonomous driving, and making complex decisions that were all compute problems that could now be solved at a lower cost than ever before. As a result, the convergence of these two factors marks a watershed point in human history, when previously insurmountable challenges become possible to confront. During their conversation in Global Alts, Chamath made a following statement: "I'm very excited about that intersection and finding companies that play on those themes. It's an incredible boon for America and America's technology sector. China has a lot of in-house expertise in process engineering, additive manufacturing, and specialized chemicals. But according to Chamath, all of these things, and notably the precursors, are supplied by American, European, and Australian businesses with a strong financial incentive to diversify their supply chains away from China. This is of tremendous advantage to American firms emissions, and as a result, China's response has been relatively subdued. For instance, the United States has said that it intends to reduce the amount of highly advanced manufacturing equipment that is exported to China for the production of semiconductors. As a form of retaliation, China has prevented the United States from obtaining the necessary components for particular silicon wafers used in photovoltaic cells. But if you take a closer look, you'll notice that the United States is capable of producing solar cells, and the machinery that China requires to get to the 2-nanometer scale in chip designs comes from the Netherlands, Germany, and the United States. As per Chamath, it's an exciting moment where this game theory optimal view is that China's cost advantages actually get moved over. So the margin decay in China gets replaced by margin expansion in these businesses, but now allow them to operate in parity. People's desire to move away from being dependent on the Chinese production chain has opened up a large number of opportunities that were previously unavailable. China will perform well, according to Chamath, because of the country's tremendously resilient domestic ecosystem. However, if the G7 can put more pressure on the criticality of these supply chain operations and diversify them, compelling them to rely only on North America or a different group of allies through subsidies or other things, it would generate significant economic tailwinds for the planners of these supply networks. Chamath claims that during his time at Facebook, he and his team were perhaps the first persons to actually commercialize machine learning in the wild. When they originally started developing news feeds and other technologies, the core concept behind them was to train computers to make educated guesses and improve those guesses over time. This is precisely what's happening in the world right now, but on steroids. The incredible benefits that may arise when computers are allowed to aid people in their job are exemplified by ChatGPT. Chamath stated that it would be equivalent to the calculator taking the place of an abacus, and the abacus taking the place of a pen and paper. The team and the individual who created the refrigerator earned some money. Still, Coca-Cola made the greatest amount of money because they utilized refrigeration to establish an incredibly profitable business. And Chamath remarked that he sees these enormous language models as a form of refrigeration. At some point in the future, AI will be commercialized, although the AI equivalent of Coca-Cola has not yet been founded. One fundamental aspect of machine learning must be understood before the appropriate monetization of machine learning can be accomplished. If you give Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon the same 1,000 data points or inputs to work with, you will get the same result from their respective machine learning models. Yet, if you own one other thing that none of those other businesses have, then your production might be presented in a distinct way. That is the same as providing 2 outstanding cooks with 3 ingredients, while providing a 3rd chef with an additional ingredient. This person has the capacity to accomplish something extraordinary. At this very moment, we are living in a society in which everyone is crawling the open web. And in the not-so-distant future, we will move on to a world in which everybody will have reached an adequate level of sophistication. According to Chamath, the next wave of M&A, or mergers and acquisitions, might involve companies such as Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. Nonetheless, he stressed the need to ask yourself whether or not they can be valid inputs to your huge language models or to other machine learning and AI models. According to Chamath, early-stage investors may desire to invest in firms with zero real public market potential, but are constructing a data repository that is so innovative that they know it's going to feed one of these larger companies and their efforts in artificial intelligence. This may be sufficient justification for us to make an investment that we wouldn't usually make right now. Hi, we hope that you've enjoyed watching this video and learned something valuable. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep posted with our videos. This is Finance Sense, helping you stay current on all the most recent changes in the financial markets and economy. Stay safe and look out for the next video.